Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the Flying Dutchman from the show Spongebob Squarepants. Please remember that if you like this build, to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it, I honestly would. All I ask is if you like it, please hit that like. And just to let you know, I have made a whole host of SpongeBob tutorials. You can find those in the card system and the description below in the SpongeBob Builds playlist. I have things like SpongeBob's house, Patrick's house, Squidward's house, the Krusty Krab, Sandy's tree house, Mrs. Puff's boating school, and eventually there will be many more as well. That is the card system and the description below. But without any further ado, let's get started. Before we begin, I should let you know that the ship will only take up an area that is about 11 blocks wide and about 23 blocks long. 11 blocks left to right and 23 blocks front to back. How high it is, that is a different story, but those are the dimensions that you'll need if you wanted to, say, make it on the ground. You also need all of these materials that I have with me right now, and I don't think I've forgotten any, but it wouldn't surprise me if I have. So make sure that you have absolutely every single one of these. Pause the video if necessary. We're starting with the ones in the hotbar, and then we can begin. So let's say that you have all of your materials and you've figured out where you want to make it. And if you have built this grid in your world, and it usually helps to build a grid, it's up to you whether you do it though. I'm going to recommend you start on the front left hand corner of the grid and count to the right by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then count inwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we'll be starting in the same position. So this is where we are going to begin. However, here's the thing, the Flying Dutchman flies, it's kind of in the name, so you might want to build this off of the ground. If you want to, then I'm going to recommend you do this. You grab your white concrete and you place a row of about 10 white concrete coming up from this block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you're sufficiently off the ground there. You can build higher, you can build lower, you can even begin on the ground. So even if you do start on the ground, you can start with this very same block. You want to place a green terracotta. And from this green terracotta, do an up left diagonal going towards the front. And then go left of it by 1, and then do an up left diagonal, and go up by 2. 1, 2. So you have this shape. However, we want to come all the way back to the first green terracotta, and you want to extend it going towards the back by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then do an up right diagonal going towards the back of the build and go right by 1. Then do an up right diagonal and go up by 2. 1, 2. So you want to have this sort of shape right here. Then what we're doing next is difficult to explain, however incredibly easy to do yourself. So grab your lime terracotta and we want to one row inside this shape, so we're inside the shape, and one row towards us, we want to place a row of lime terracotta that sits inside of the frame that we have created. However, it doesn't connect together at the corners. So essentially what we've done, and it's much easier to see this, is we've just placed a row of lime terracotta, one row inside of the area that we've created, and one row towards us. Just like that, easy enough. And we want to do that again. So once you've done that once, you actually want to do the same thing again as well. And it once again does not want to connect together at the corners at all. So just like this. We now want to do a similar thing. So this is similar but different. I'll explain how. So now we want to, let's say we're starting on the left hand side here where we have this row of 2 lime terracotta. Place a row of lime terracotta inwards from that, yet coming towards you, so you've got like a row of 2. You then want to take the bottom block of your terracotta and you want to extend it to the right by 2. 1, 2. And then place a lime glass. Then a lime glass, lime glass, and then 3 lime terracotta, 1, 2, 3, and then place a lime terracotta on top, like this. And place stone slabs underneath each one of the glass, like this. What we are then going to do is you see, this is kind of tricky again. We want to place basically green terracotta on top of all of that. So all of the lime terracotta we placed and all of the glass, we want to place lime terracotta or green terracotta on top of that. And then extend that row of green terracotta towards you by 1 row, like this. So you've taken all of those blocks, you've extended it towards you. What you then want to do is you want to take the very left-hand side here, or what might be easier is this. You can place upon this row of 3 diagonal lime terracottas, you can place green terracotta, and you can even do the same here as well up at the front. And then all you want to do is you just want to place green terracottas on the outside of those terracottas. So like, if you just place them on the outside like this, you can see that actually connects together quite nicely. So once you have done that, we're actually going to do the same exact thing to the opposite side, and then we can work on some further details. So if we come to the opposite side here, we want to do literally the same thing, right? So can you remember how this started? We basically wanted to grab lime terracotta, and we wanted to add a row of lime terracotta, 1 row inside of the green terracotta, yet 1 row towards us. That's the best way that I can describe it, and it's also the fastest way of describing it and doing it. Do make sure that it wants to line up with the opposite side as well. Like, don't go as high as like here, because that has just recently been added on. Just match the opposite side. So not only do you do that once, of course, but you want to do that again. So again, 1 row inside, 1 row towards you, easy as that. Just like this. And if I'm going too fast, pause the video. I mean, I'm sure that you guys will manage to do this, no problem. Now, once you have done that, this is the part where it gets a bit tricky, because we then want to add a row of lime terracotta inside of the left-hand side. So we only want to place like the side terracotta and not the row on the bottom. And then we want to take this bottom block here and we want to extend it to the right. And we want to place 2 lime terracotta, 1, 2, and then a lime glass, lime terracotta, lime glass, lime terracotta, lime glass, and then 3 lime terracotta. 1, 2, 3. And then place a lime terracotta coming upwards like this. And then we want to have the same thing that we did on the other side. We want to add stone slabs underneath each one of the lime glass. However, we also want to place green terracotta on top of everything that we have just placed there. And extend the green terracotta towards you by 1 row as well, just as we did with the other side. And then we want to do the same thing that we did on that side as well, which means we want to take these 3 diagonal blocks and place green terracotta on top. And then extend the green terracotta towards you by 1 row, including this one here at the front, like this. So from the top, just in case that's difficult to see, we have done that. What we then want to do is we actually want to take the very front middle part of the ship. So like, we actually have kind of like an actual proper T shape here. We want to take the very middle of this and we want to place 5 lime terracotta coming from the middle. Actually, you want to place a green terracotta and then 5 lime terracotta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, coming off of the first block in from the lime terracotta, you want to hang a lime banner. Because it's a ghost ship, you know, there's just a lot of tattered cloth and stuff everywhere, and that's what the banner is. Also, we're going to use lime concrete, and we want to place a row of lime concrete in front of the bottom part of the T. So we want to place lime concrete in these positions, and even this one coming down diagonally and inwards. We also want to take the top lime concrete block and extend it towards us by one. And then we want to take this middle block here and we want to place a lime concrete on the right and the left, like that. And you just want to use buttons, and you want to place buttons either side of the top block that's in this corner, so like just wooden buttons on the side, because that's supposed to be, I'm really not sure what you call them, I'm sure they have a name, but like on some ships, you know how you have like a figure, like a statue on the front of a ship? In this case, it's kind of like a ghostly looking mermaid, which is impossible to replicate in Minecraft at this scale. That's what that is. So that's what we have so far for the ship. I think my voice just cracked. I went really high there. So that, maybe I'm just scared of the Flying Dutchman. That is what we want to have so far. It's a pretty impressive looking boat so far, I do think. And once you have done that, we can move on to the next bit. So let's move towards the back of the boat now. Okay, we're going to move towards the back of the boat. So on the back of the boat, this is what we want to do. We have, on the back of the boat, I keep saying that, we have all of these diagonal lime concretes, don't we? We have all of these diagonal lime concretes. Place on top of those green terracottas. So even on the back as well, like, you know, the back green terracotta. I said lime concretes, didn't I? But I meant terracotta. On the back, so basically on the back, you just want to add green terracottas on top of all of them to make an arrow shape. And from that arrow shape, you want to extend out all of the green terracottas towards you. So if you start on this left side, you want to place one here, 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 and here. And also here. Like this. So from the side, it looks like this. And you have that same T on the back of the boat as you do on the front of the boat as well. Just like that. Now, here's where things get a bit tricky. So you want to then take out your lime terracotta, and on top of these specific blocks, you want to place lime terracotta. So let me show you. You want to place lime terracotta on top of this block, this, and this block. So you want to place lime terracotta specifically on top of those blocks, just like that. And then you want to take the front pair of lime terracottas, which would be this one, and you want to place a lime glass in front of them. You can do this both at the same time. And then place a lime terracotta in front of the glass. And then glass in front of the lime terracotta. And then green terracotta in front of the glass. Place a lime terracotta underneath the green terracotta. And then green terracotta in front of the lime terracottas, like this. You then want to extend up this green terracotta on this side, and the opposite side, like that. And then you want to place green terracotta on top of all of the blocks. So on top of all of the glass and lime terracotta, just like this. And it will give you a shape that should look from the outside like that. We also want to fill in underneath the windows using lime terracotta. So that's on both sides, of course, like that. And we also want to connect things together a little bit better. So, first of all, we want to place a row of lime terracotta connecting the sides of the boat together. So what I mean by that is we want to take these single green terracottas and extend them left to right using lime terracottas like this. And then we're going to do the same thing. One row above and inwards, we want to connect the side of the boat together using lime terracotta. And then we're going to do the same thing again. One row inwards, we're going to do another row of lime terracotta like this. And then we're completely going to fill the top of the back of the boat in using lime terracotta as well to give us something which should so far look like this. And it's looking quite impressive already. Okay, so the next job we have to do, once you have completed all the way up to this part of course, is we want to fill in the bottom of the boat using lime terracotta. So now that we actually have like a platform, or a deck, I think is the actual official term. I don't know, I'm not a captain yet, but I'm pretty sure that this is the deck, and we want to just completely fill it in using lime terracotta like this. So now that we have a good foundation for the boat, we have to add in all of the sails and the masts and all of that fun stuff. So on the actual Flying Dutchman itself, there's a lot more sails, but on this version there's pretty much only one, because otherwise it gets very, very cluttered. And the positioning of the sail is quite simple. So if you take the back part of the boat and you find the middle block, it's quite easy to find. It's this middle lime terracotta. You shouldn't have too much trouble finding this whatsoever. And you leave a gap of 1 moving forwards in the ground. You leave this block alone. And on top of this block, you place a row of 4 lime terracotta. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in front of this 4th block, place a green terracotta. And extend the green terracotta both to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But also the left 4 as well. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we want to have this shape. And very simply, we want to, above and outwards from this row of green terracotta, we want to place a row of white concrete that is as wide, and 1 row above and 1 row forwards from the green terracotta. And place the white concrete on top. Also place another row of white concrete on top, is what I should say. And then extend the white concrete towards you by 1 row, like this. So we're giving it a bit of depth now. And then if you start on the left-hand side of the sail, you want to place a row of 3 white concrete going right. 1, 2, and 3. And then place a slime block, followed by a white concrete, and then a slime block, and then 3 white concrete. Then if you extend all of these slimes up by 1, 1, and 1, connect them together, extend the middle block up by 1, and place white concrete left and right, place slime on top of the white concrete, connect it together in between, place slime to the right and left of the white concrete, and there you have a nice little skull. And the reason that I chose to use slime is because I thought it looked quite ghastly. It looked very ghostly. And then all you have to do is just fill in around this using white concrete all the way up to the top of the skull. And that's pretty much all you have to do for that part of the sail. We then want to place behind the top row of the sail, or, I mean, you don't even have to add in this row actually, but 1 row above and 1 row inwards in relationship to the top row of the sail, place a row of white concrete like this. So, like that. Then, 1 row above and inside in regards to the previous row of white concrete, you want to place a row of green terracotta that is 1 row above and 1 row inside of the previous row like this. And you want to extend the green terracotta right and left by 1, like this. And then you want to take the, I think this is called like the mast, the big pole that we placed earlier, the row of lime terracotta, extend that lime all the way up until it is as high as the green terracotta that is in front of it. And then extend the lime upwards by an additional by 2, 1 and 2, like that. And then we're going to place a row of green terracotta all the way around the outside of that second lime terracotta, like this. So we're just 1 row higher. And then we want to place a green terracotta on top of each one of the 4 corners of the square that we've made, with lime terracotta in between, like that. We then want to grab our... You know what? We actually don't need much stuff anymore. We only kind of need like the lime stained glass pane, web, and some lime concrete. I don't think we need anything else. No. So all we have to do is we have to place a lime glass pane in the center of what we've just made, and go up by like 3. About 3 would be fine. 1, 2, and 3, like that. We then want to make kind of like a flag shape, pretty much. So like if you place a lime concrete behind that, and then maybe like an upright diagonal, and then maybe like extend it back by 1, and then maybe place like a diagonal or something like that. That looks horrible. I'm so bad at making flags. Maybe like place one there, and then another one there, something like that, so that it's kind of like a nice tattered flag. That looks, yeah, that looks fine. Something like that would actually be really good. And there you have most of the ship. Now this is optional. We can use web. You know how there's like, unlike ships and stuff, there's like the netting and the ropes that you use to like climb up onto the sails and blah blah blah. Well, you can add this using web if you so choose. So like if you come to the bottom front right hand side of this row of green terracotta that we have right here, if you start 1 row inwards, so this block, you can place a row of web, like 1 block down and in front of this. And then you can actually place like another, like that. And then maybe we'll destroy this block and then place another one there. And then you could add like another row of this, like this. Or maybe we don't even have to destroy anything. Nah, it's fine. That block could go if we wanted to. So now we kind of have like, you can kind of see the effect. Plus it makes the ship look a little bit more spookier. And then if you have the same thing on the opposite side, once again, this is all optional. On the opposite side, if you come to the back side and then move like 1 row inwards, you could have like the same thing using web. Like, I'm not even sure how much I like this, by the way. That's probably the wrong position, isn't it? Maybe we start underneath the sail. That might be easier. Yeah, and then it actually fits in. Yeah, that might look a little bit better. You could actually change the position on the front and the back. It doesn't really matter so much. So it's up to you whether you like that or not, or whether you don't like that. But you could add something like that to maybe perhaps enhance the build. And the only thing that I'm going to do next is, a lot of the times when you see it in the TV show, the Flying Dutchman that is, it's like tethered to the ground. So you can use like lime stained glass pane, and you can tether, usually the right hand side of the ship here, you can like tether it to the ground using lime stained glass pane. Because once it's not touching any blocks other than itself, it kind of looks like a rope. Which is kind of what we're going for. So, something... I think I'd rather it connect... we'll see. We'll see if it has to connect together. So, you can kind of like tether it down to the ground in kind of like a rope play fashion, if you so choose. I mean, you might not want that. So, yeah, I think I'd rather it connect together. So, if you kind of want to have that effect where it is like rope to the ground, then I would absolutely understand that. If you don't, I also understand that too. And I'm also going to destroy this guiding row for the, what was that? The white concrete did we use? It was actually a really weird color underneath the ship. But yeah, that's the Flying Dutchman, guys. That's pretty much all there is to it. I'm hoping it wasn't that hard of a build. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what the Flying Dutchman should look like once you have 100% fully completed it. The only difference between mine and yours would be that I have destroyed all the numbers on the ground and the grid, replaced it with a little bit of sand. Oh, and I also did add some white concrete behind the skull on the sail. I'm not sure whether you guys can see that or not. I added a little bit of white concrete behind the skull on the sail, just because I think it looks a little bit better that way. But hey, that's up to you whether you want to do that or not. And that is that. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. I honestly would. And also, if you'd like to see any more of my content coming up in the future, and there will be some, please subscribe to the channel and click the little bell next to the subscription to ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And if you would like to make anything else by me, especially SpongeBob related by the way, you can actually see just a few builds in the background and they do keep going and going and going, then please check out the card system and the description below for all of my SpongeBob related builds. That's the SpongeBob builds playlist. It will very easily be found. You'll be able to find it no problem. And on top of that, I do also make loads of other stuff too, like if you wanted to make all sorts of cartoon and movie related builds, like that's Mr. Bean's house, that is the Lab Rat's house, Teen Titan Tower, that's the Justice League, Hall of Justice, Henry Danger, Rick and Morty, Ed's World, that's Captain Underpants. Like, we have so much stuff. You can even see like the outline of Stark Tower in the background. Really, really huge. But I do literally all sorts of stuff. All of these are cartoon builds, but I do just about every single kind of build that there is. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye! And this video's subscriber shout-out goes to Tyson HWG. Thank you, Tyson, for commenting on my videos and being a positive force in the comment section. I know that you are starting your own series on YouTube. I'm pretty sure that it's pixel art related, and I thought that it might be nice to give you a shout out. If you guys would like to give Tyson a little bit of support, you can find a link to his channel down there below in the description. You should be able to very easily find that. I just wanted to say thank you very much, Tyson. I do see you commenting on my videos quite often, and it's always pretty positive, so I think you deserve a shout out. I hope that everything goes well with your YouTube channel. I hope that you actually do manage to find a little bit of success. Thank you so much to everybody that does like the videos, that does subscribe to the channel, clicks the little bell, and also does comment on my videos and are just a nice general positive force in the comment section. Thank you so much, guys. It might not have been you getting the shout out this time, but it absolutely could be you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.